The welding pathway includes 4 classes: Industry Fundamentals of Occupational Safety, Welding 1, Introduction to Metals, and the Math of Industry and Government. This counts as your 4th math credit for Georgia High School graduation requirements. Hey everybody, this is Coach Kachmar. I'm the welding teacher here at Maxwell. Most of the students that come with our program at Maxwell are pushed in several different directions because every kid is different. So if your child is a 4-year college-bound student, that's great. They can still come to Maxwell and take welding. We have a couple kids that have gone on to Kennesaw State and majored in construction management. And because they know welding, they're extremely valuable to the construction companies that they eventually. Most of our students will choose to go to a state technical college like Gwinnett Tech, which is a very strong business partner of ours right across the street, and Lanier Tech, which is actually the welding hub for the state of Georgia. We have an extremely strong relationship with for-profit trade schools. There's apprenticeships, and then you have the school to work transition, people going right to work. So let's look at those in particular. So like we mentioned, the students that go to the state technical colleges usually wind up going to Gwinnett Tech, which is right across the street. The Hope Grant will be accepted there, and you have to take the AccuPlacer exam. So it's the entrance exam for technical, and it's very tough. You really got to get in there. What's really nice about having Gwinnett Tech as one of our business partners is if you come to Maxwell, you're going to get to know those professors before you even step foot at Gwinnett Tech, because they'll be in our classroom periodically introducing themselves to prospective students. So Gwinnett Tech is almost like a sister school of ours. We do a continuation program with them. There is no dual enrollment articulation anymore, but what we do have is a student from Maxwell can go up to Gwinnett Tech before classes start, and the professors at Gwinnett Tech will test you out to see if you can actually skip that introduction level, which you probably can. And you may also get credit for oxyfuel cutting and plasma cutting. We'll get into all that in a second. Another school that we have very strong business partnership with is a for-profit trade school called the Tulsa Welding School down in Jacksonville, Florida. We have 7 graduates down there this year. We have a total of about 25 graduates that have gone through the program in the last. Well run, and it's probably going to be your best bet in terms of getting a for-profit trade school education in welding. One of the things that I push students the most at is these apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are usually run by unions because they have a lot of money. And when they have a lot of money, they can offer you one of the best training facilities and trainers, etc. in industry. You're working at construction sites and you're learning your trade and using your skills in a 5-year program or a 4-year program. What's nice about the apprenticeship programs is they guarantee that after 5 years or 4 years that you're making anywhere between $68,000 to $75,000 a year, and there is no college debt. You heard that right. $68,000 to $70,000 a year if you can stick with the rigor of that apprenticeship for 5 years. Some are 4 years. It usually entails going to school 1 night a week. And I push a lot of students towards these because our kids have to work. My kid would have to work. The last one that I want to talk about is school to work transition. School to work transition means you're going to get a job. If there are so many welding related jobs available in this economy, coated welding versus non-coated welding. If you want to be a non-coated welder, jobs are a dime a dozen, but they don't pay very well. If you're doing coated welding, which means it has to be inspected, probably x-rayed, etc., by a welding inspector, then you're going to need to have certifications. Our program offers students 3 certifications: NCCER Construction Safety and NCCER Welding 1 certifications. We also offer you an OSHA 10-hour construction certification. That right there is your foot in the door for many companies looking to hire young, upcoming workers in industry. Our strongest business partners at Maxwell are Kubota, Ryerson Steel. We have students that have worked with Cottrell, AZZ, A1 Sign, Porter Steel, A&R Iron, Georgia Power, Gwinnett Water Resources, and Gwinnett County Public Schools hires our students from time to time in their facilities and operations. So the school to work transition is a big opportunity for you to go to work right after high school. Something that taking forensic science at your regular school might not offer you. So this is a real skill, real job with a real future. We're going to show you one of the fun pieces of machinery we have in the lab. It's called a CNC plasma cutter. It allows students to cut out shapes and all different things on light grade steel. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you're thinking about what your elective should be your junior and senior year, I hope you're thinking about the hottest class in school, Maxwell Welding.
So we're in the process of getting this design off of the internet, and it has the ability to turn it into what's called a vector image, so that you can cut the design the cut path. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to do it from a brand new one. So we come here, we go File, New, and let's say, for example, we want to cut out something that I have on the computer already, the Browning symbol. We do a lot for hunting and fishing and for camping. So steel is a perfect avenue. And then once it digitizes this into a vector image, we can hit finish, and all of this is now an edge that the computer numeric control on the plasma cutter will follow and cut out the shapes. So I'm going to close this one out. I don't want to save. I'm going to go back to my holiday trees. These are gifts students are working on. And what I do is I say, all right, I am ready. Everything is turned on. Everything's calibrated. We've loaded the table with water for cooling. We're ready to cut. So I'm going to cut these 5 Christmas trees out of a piece of sheet metal that is actually 14 gauge. And what the computer is going to do is take this graphic image that's now vectorized, and I'm going to put it in computer aided machining. And what it does is it finds the whole machine path. So you can see the red lines. That is the pathway that the plasma cutter head is going to follow to cut out these objects. I have to calibrate this so that we have the right thickness of material. You see it's 14 gauge. we have to make sure that our travel speed is at 110. That's 110 inches per minute that it will cut. That gives it enough time to penetrate the 14 gauge steel. And then we send it over to our machine. Turn our machine on, and it's not reading it yet. It's reading the last file. We did some key change for our principal. Now it's converting that tool path, and there it is with an image ready to cut. All right, so the machine is all calibrated. Everything's at 0, 0, 0 on our 3 coordinates. And now I'm going to send the design over to the CNC plasma cutter. I got to make sure I got my voltage right. Everything looks good. I'm going to yell cover. That means everybody around me needs to put on glasses, because the plasma cutter will put off ultraviolet light that could damage your eye. Cover! After it cuts out this second tree, I'm going to pause it. And we're going to look at our finished result. What I have is a magnet. I have a magnet with a very long handle on it, and I use that to pick up the finished product, because that piece of steel right there is extremely hot. you'll notice I'm using my glove like a pot holder so you can see that it cut out the Georgia Tech logo. Somebody has to go to Tech. And our design is complete. It's just one of the many tools that we have here at Maxwell Welding in Gwinnett County.